Hey guys, my name is Matsumo, and today it looks like we've learned some more information about one of the new gadgets coming to Siege for the new Operator Dokkaebi. Now, a couple of days ago, we talked about a recent leak where supposedly one of the new operators was going to have some sort of gadget which would allow them to create other gadgets to make sound. It sort of seemed like this new operator was going to be an alternative to IQ. You would be able to hear the Lesion Trap because it was making noise. I don't know why a Lesion Trap would be making noise, but that was kind of what people were assuming. That no longer appears to be the case. So in this teaser trailer that you guys are seeing right now, Dokkaebi is hacking the systems. Her backstory is that she is a hacker, and she is then making a cell phone ring out in the distance. She then promptly silences said phone with her weapon. And so based off of this, it doesn't seem like Dokkaebi is going to be an alternative to IQ. It sounds like she's going to be a different kind of Jackal. Now, this is speculation. Ubisoft hasn't confirmed anything completely, but I don't know how else we're supposed to interpret this trailer. Everyone on defense has access to a cell phone. That's what they use to peer through all the cameras, and so it's really cool conceptually to have an operator that's able to take advantage of that fact. And so while I know a lot of people were hoping that one of the operators was going to be able to hack into cameras, a lot of people have been hoping for that for quite some time. I think this is a really cool twist, and I was not expecting this whatsoever. Now, the first thing I thought of when I saw this trailer was, okay, that's awesome, but it essentially is Jackal, but slightly differently. Like, why in the world would you want to play as Dokkaebi when there is Jackal on your team? Well, I have a feeling that this is going to have a couple of applications. First of all, Jackal can only tag one target. He's only able to scan one target at a time, and I'm guessing that her hacking ability is going to set everyone's, or at least in an area around her, all the cell phones to go off. And so if you assume that a couple of people are in a room, but you're not exactly sure, you activate her gadget really quickly, the noise goes off, and you're going to be able to hear in different sections of the room where the enemy is located. And so that's going to be I'm assuming one benefit of her gadget. Once again, nothing's been confirmed, but I can only guess that to be the case. I would also imagine that this is going to be a bit easier to use and potentially more versatile compared to Jackal's gadgets. One of the weaknesses of Jackal is that if the enemy isn't roaming around, or you kind of know that someone is near a room, but you don't see any footprints, well, you can't scan for any footprints. I mean, no footprints is an indication, and that does give you some information, but a lot of times, if you're trying to figure out where they're camping on the objective, they haven't been moving around a lot, and so you just simply can't use your gadget at all. I'm guessing with Dokkaebi, you don't need to scan any footprints. You just need to activate her gadgets, and then you'll hear their cell phone going off, and then you can swoop on in and hopefully take advantage of said information. The final distinction that she might have over Jackal is that she might be a counter to Caveira. I always thought when Jackal was introduced that he was going to be the anti-roamer operator, and he is designed around that. Like, he's meant to find roamers that are scattered around the map, figure out where they're located, and then hunt them down. The funny thing about it, though, is that the best quote-unquote roamer, the one that can move silently, Cav, well, she actually counters the person who was meant to be the anti-roamer. Like, I never understood that. Well, if Dokkaebi is able to make Cav's cell phone start to ring, and as long as the silent step ability doesn't just turn off the cell phone, she could finally be the counter to Cav, and this has been something I've been waiting for a very long time. I mean, I don't think that Cav is overpowered by any stretch of the imagination, but you find and go against some amazing Cav players, it can be really frustrating. Like, they can all of a sudden appear out of nowhere, and I've always wanted to have an operator that was a better counter. I always think to go Jackal, but of course Jackal just doesn't really do the job very well, and so Dokkaebi may finally fit that role. Now, all of this sounds great, but I'm guessing that it will come with some downsides. If she's just flat out better than Jackal, well, then why in the world would you ever want to play as Jackal anymore? And so I think one of the things that's going to hold her back is that you do need to rely on sound, and you need to be sort of next to the enemy to take advantage of your gadgets. Jackal can be halfway across the map as long as he's scanning your footprints to be able to identify where you're situated. And so if you've got a teammate nearby, that teammate can still take advantage of that footprint scan and take down that roamer. Jackal doesn't have to be the one to take you out. I have a guess that Dokkaebi sort of needs to be near near the action around where the enemy roamer is, just to simply be able to hear the cell phone going off. Another potential downside of her is that you have to rely on sound to be able to pinpoint where the defender is located. You guys know, if you played this game for a while, that the sound can be a bit weird, especially when verticality is involved. A lot of times I've had moments where I could swear someone was directly next to me. It sounded like they were 2 feet away, but because there was a hole in the ceiling and they were shuffling around up there, they were directly above me. Like, this game does not deal well with verticality, and so with her gadget, while in a lot of situations it'll give you some great information, I'm guessing it could also cause some confusion. And then finally, it's just simply not going to be as precise as Jackal. I've had some great moments where I scanned someone's footprints, I waited for it to update, and then shot through a destructible wall and took them out. Those moments, while maybe possible with Dokkaebi, will be much more difficult because you're not going to physically see that ping above the enemy's head. And so all in all, I'm really excited to see how she works in reality. This is a very cool concept. I was not expecting it whatsoever. And so I'm crossing my fingers that what we've seen so far is an indication of how she's going to perform. And I think it's going to be a very cool addition into Rainbow Six Siege. The final thing I wanted to mention today is that all of the new operators and the new map is going to be available on the technical test servers for testing on November 20th. Now, I know that some people might be a bit disappointed by this news because they would rather all the content be released on all platforms all at once. Some people just simply don't have access to the TTS. My hope is that they're just trying to ensure that there isn't any crazy large glaring issues or bugs before they finally go live. Ubisoft doesn't really have the best track record when it comes to patches and bugs. We don't want to have another Mira glitch where people were able to literally melee her window from the opposite end when it first came out and open it on up. I'm assuming they want to avoid that at all costs. And so while I know that some people might be disappointed by it, some people are going to be really excited because they can play this new content early. My hope is that this will only last a couple of days. They'll gather all the information that they need, hopefully make some changes, and then make it go live for everyone in just a couple of days after that. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought about what we discussed today. Do you agree with my assessment on the way that Dokkaebi's gadget is going to work? Do you think it's going to function in another way? Let me know down below in the comment section. But yeah, guys, until tomorrow, have a good one and take it easy.